All right, so today we're going to go through a mystery box that was very kindly sent by the Video Connoisseur. So this entire video and my entire thanks to Video Connoisseur for sending some really interesting items. It's not just Laserdisc this time, there's some music involved, so we'll start with those. Now this one's really interesting. This was the first, or one of the first, really major compilations of classic Disney music material, theme songs, and things from the films and some of the theme park attractions. So this one is from, I believe it's from 1992, and it's known as the Music of Disney, a Legacy and Song Collection, with this really fantastic artwork here. As you can see, this was still during the era of CD long boxes and big boxes for music releases, and it's LP sized. So it looks very much like a Laserdisc box set or a vinyl box set, but this is actually the cassette version. So I'm pretty excited to spin through this, well, not spin through this, because I did finally get a decent cassette deck just for if I ever come across any tapes I needed to play. So this will give me something to test out with that, because I don't really have any cassettes. So, but finding a working cassette deck is such a rarity these days, I couldn't pass it up since it was basically being thrown out. So it'll be fun to listen through to some of these, and of course you can find this compilation on CD and get better quality, but I don't think the CD version came in this size box set. So the box itself is really nice. So this was a big surprise, and it has a really cool full-on book. This isn't just a booklet, it's a full-on booklet. Oh, sorry, it's a full-on book with all of the music credits and full-on liner notes and things. Again, this may have, the CD version may have had this full-on box set because they were still doing big boxes back in the day, but usually I've just seen the CD by itself. I think it fits onto 2 CDs. But a lot of these Disney comps, they've done several, but they don't always include every track version, and the newer ones have lots of loudness compression, things like that. But the presentation is really nice, and all the cassettes are in this perfectly cut and designed velvet tray. So it'll be fun to flip through these, and it's also really cool. The cassettes themselves are blue, so they're translucent blue, so that's kind of neat. So yeah, thanks to Connoisseur for giving me another format to play around with. Now next up are 2 vinyl box sets. So we are getting onto vinyl box sets. This is part of the Franklin Mint Record Society collection, which I didn't really know of specifically, but I knew there used to be various record collections you could belong to and subscribe to. So this one was done by the Franklin Mint, and what's really interesting about these, they did various genres. But what's really great about these is they're actually very well regarded even among audiophile circles. A lot of people were able to get really nice collections for decent amounts of money. These apparently retailed for anywhere between, I think, $20 and $40 as a monthly subscription service. But the recording sources they got were very good, and the pressing quality on these are really excellent. And they all have this matching box design, which is a hinge box, but these are very well put together. I've just never really paid much attention to them. And now that I have one of these, I'm gonna have to do some more attention. Try to get this thing open. So when you open this box, of course, there's the insert. Let's see if I can just do it like this. So like I said, it's a hinge box design, and again, very well packaged with really great liner notes and photos in the insert. And like I said, they are full-on liner notes about the songs and why they were chosen. So this one, of course, deals with the big band era, and again, not really something I have a whole lot of background in, so this is going to be really fun to go through. But again, the attention to detail in this set is fantastic, and these are not very expensive to obtain these days, so I would actually like to find some more in this collection because, again, the pressing quality in this set is fantastic. And you can even look around on some audiophile forums, and these are still well regarded to this day. The pressing quality is actually better than a lot of modern releases. And again, fantastic attention to detail on this set. And you even get custom Franklin Mint Record Society inserts. And what's even cooler, which I didn't even realize at first, this just tops it off. I can't believe how good these sets are. The vinyl pressing itself, very clean, but custom labels, and I don't know how well you can see this, but the actual vinyl color itself is sort of this very, very nice maroon red color, which is actually, it's not quite translucent, but if you hold it up to the light, you can see the red. But it's a very, very subdued red. So if you have it on the platter, it could almost look the standard black color in certain shades, but a really, really nice touch. And it's also a relatively heavyweight vinyl pressing. It's not a full-on 180 gram because that wasn't really around at the time, but it's definitely heavier and much sturdier than the standard 140. So I'd say it's at least probably 150 grams. And there are foam inserts protecting the other LPs, which I think this, yeah, it's just the 2 in here. So even though it's just 2 LPs, it's in this fantastic matching box set. So I'm really just astounded by the quality of this. And I've listened to some of the tracks so far, and again, the people are not joking around. These things sound fantastic. So if you stumble across any of these Franklin Mint Record Society boxes, like I said, they're usually pretty cheap in used bins and stores and stuff. But if you're interested in any of this material, like I said, they covered other genres and there are other series. But I'm definitely interested in picking up some more of these. These are fantastic. Yeah, so that box set was records 15 and 16 from this series, and Connoisseur also very kindly sent me another set, which is actually records 85 and 86. So this is a very long-running series. So same box, which I will try to get open for you guys. So like I said, they all match, but they all have a different spine, so you can tell them apart. This one's in a little bit better shape. There aren't any age spots on the inserts, but again, absolutely fantastic stuff here. So I'm very excited to check this stuff out. Show you the rear. And then this one has also got a custom sleeve, but by this point they apparently switched to this sort of plastic style inner, but definitely still very well protected. And I believe these are also still same custom label, and also on the same really beautiful looking maroon red vinyl. And also this one, just like the earlier one, is a slightly heavier weighted LP pressing. So again, these things are fantastic. I am just astonished that these are not super cheap pressings, and like I said, these are extraordinarily impressive and really shame a lot of the so-called audiophile modern pressings that we all have to pay an arm and a leg for. So again, these Franklin Mint Record Society box sets are fantastic. Thanks again to Connoisseur for sending these to me, because I'm just having a lot of fun going through these. Of course, it wouldn't be a video of mine without some Laserdiscs, so Connoisseur very kindly sent over some spares and interesting titles. So first off, 2 standard discs. This is one I've always meant to pick up, but it's just that every time I find one, it's beat to crap, and I've just always meant to get a copy and just never have. And it's been ages since I've seen this, and I've wanted to rewatch it for a long time due to the various cast and crew members involved in this. But this is the standard Warner Brothers, I believe this is letterbox, yeah, letterbox pressing, a Presumed Innocent, which is one of the above average, good, solid Harrison Ford 90s thrillers. His best from the 90s is still always probably going to be The Fugitive, but this is probably the one that's right up there neck and neck, pretty close. Directed by Alan Pakula, produced by Sidney Pollack, also with a phenomenal supporting performance by Raul Julia. Just a great thriller from the 90s, the style of which that they don't really make anymore. And it pretty much repurposes, I believe this was the theatrical poster, and I like the whole silver backing. But of course, because it's Warner Brothers, they cram multiple discs in a standard jacket. Hence, this has some ring wear and some dings and stuff, but it's in really good shape compared to the copies I usually find. And again, this is just one I meant to pick up for ages. So I'm very happy that Connoisseur sent over a spare copy. The standard Warner rear is in full evidence here, but the silver on the back actually matches the front. So that's, I think, the first and only time that ever happened. It is actually letterboxed, and they actually indicated it because I guess somebody at Warner Brothers finally learned, hey, we should say this is widescreen. And of course, it has their usual widescreen banner logo, I should say, hidden away over here on the back. Why put that on the front? That's not important. It does carry a Dolby Surround encoded PCM track, so that's at least nice of them. This was still at the point in time Warner Brothers was doing analog only discs for whatever reason. So, but anyway, I'll be excited to spin this up and check out the Laserdisc transfer. I'm sure the audio is going to be really good because, of course, this is the original mix format for the film. But yeah, I've been wanting to rewatch this for ages, and I was always like, well, if I finally get the Laserdisc, I'll watch it on that. And I don't know, I might even read the book afterwards. I don't know, sometimes I enjoy 90s, you know, paperback thrillers just because, you know, they're a bit of fun. So, moving on to the other standard title. Connoisseur said he sent this over to me since my last mystery box from Melinda, I got a copy of the first film, so he very kindly sent me a copy of Major League 2. This is a pressing from later on, also Warner Brothers. So as you can see, they've actually finally put widescreen here on the front, but of course, they've put it as tiny as possible in the bottom corner, so you can't even see and really note that this is widescreen. Of course, the first film is an open matte presentation, doesn't have a widescreen version on Laserdisc, but I have to say, I've never actually seen this film. I saw the first one years and years and years ago, so I'm going to rewatch that, and now I can go right into the sequel and check it out. And because it's a later pressing, you actually get a rear cover without the usual 80s looking Warner Brothers rear cover. So it actually uses the whole rear of the jacket. No AC3 on this. This is just straight up Dolby Surround encoded PCM. I think this film's from '94 anyway, so I don't know if it actually got Dolby Digital on the theatrical release. That was still in the time period where not everything did. But this should be a really nice transfer, being as it's a Warner Brothers disc from '94, '95 era. So it'll be fun to spin this up and check out the strength of a Warner transfer from 1995. Now, last but certainly not least, Connoisseur also sent me 2 box sets. This one is not exactly something you need, but it's just so darn cool that it's just like, wow. So of course I do have the Terminator 2 special edition box set, but as most people know, it came in a variety of color faceplates, which everybody thought might indicate date of pressing or you know, pressing plant or something, but really it doesn't seem to matter all that much. And I never intended to get another one of these, but Connoisseur sent me another one in a different color, and it's just so darn cool that I'm just happy to actually have it. So this is the T2 box, but with the blue foil cover, and it's a little bit worn and peeling here, which it seems like that's kind of getting more and more common on these as they get older and older and have, you know, survived shelf, well, I can't say shelfware because these don't fit on any shelf. So wherever you've had them all these years, my gold one has a little bit of flecking off here and there on the corners. But the rest of this is in mint shape. The whole leather case is doesn't have any seams or splits or peeling. My other one is in great shape, except the top is kind of peeling. So this is really, really cool. And again, not very cheap because, you know, it's heavy to ship, even if, you know, it's not really a essential box, shouldn't cost you a whole lot of money. But of course still has the amazing super glossy heavy cardstock insert with the disc contained inside. On one side with Arnold in his regular form and in the fully glorified Terminator skull in flames. So this is why this set is so well revered, I think, simply because it just took packaging to another level and included extras and things. So if you've seen my other video, you've seen me go through the whole thing, but you do have the discs inside with a special custom insert, which became the cover for the standard CLV reissue of the special edition. And then the really cool part is that each disc has its own custom sleeve holder and disc label. So basically this is the CLV discs of 1 and 2 with CAV sides for all the extras. And of course most, if not all, the extras have been redone on the various DVDs and some of the Blu-rays. I think the only thing that was exclusive to the Laserdisc boxes was the Guns N' Roses music video. So that's the reason why most people wanted to get the boxes. And then you have the really awesome spine. I don't know how the angle is going to work out, but again, to see the whole overview of the box, you can check out my other video, but it's just really cool to have the blue version. So I guess if I ever come across the red one, if it's, you know, super cheap, I probably won't be able to contain myself, but it's just one of the best home video packagings ever. It's simple but gorgeous and overdone in all the right ways. And speaking of that, we're going to come to the last and most surprising item of this mystery box. This is something I've wanted to get for a long time, but usually the prices on eBay and other places, it's a bit more pricey than some of the other boxes just because it's not as common. So I always held out on getting one of these until I could get one for a good price. So Connoisseur, thank you so much for sending this. This is the deluxe CAV box set of The Lion King. Like the other CAV boxes Disney was doing at this time, it has this really gorgeous custom artwork. And even though I've never been a big fan of this film, this artwork is fantastic. Like it's worth owning this box alone and the other boxes in this line simply for the custom artworks. Now, just like the others, it's a very nice, glossy, polished set. It's the same packaging style as the interior of the T2 box. So if you've ever had that, that's how these boxes feel. And just like that, has a really cool spine, and it's just a slip box. So this is just like the Hunchback and Sleeping Beauty and Pocahontas boxes. But anyway, the Lion King set includes this portfolio with some really cool lithographs and then some liner notes about some of the extras. There's also a third panel. And then the lithographs are contained inside. And again, these are not just little, you know, postcard reproductions. These are full-on, absolutely gorgeous, just gorgeous reproductions, like the type of stuff that you'd have to pay a decent amount of money to buy in like a Disneyland gift shop or something. So I'll go through these really quick. And again, it's really cool to see the you know, pre-finalized designs show up, and again, the quality of these reproductions are fantastic. So they definitely were not cutting corners in costs of making these box sets. These sets were always seemingly designed much more for the hardcore animation fan or animation historian or a Disney historian than just your standard release. And then most of their market seemed to still be catering towards VHS anyway for, you know, kids and families, and because that was going to be the mass percentage of their buyership. But they went the extra mile for all of these box sets. So even titles like this that I'm not a super big fan of course, you get a lovely white card to hold them all. But yeah, even though I'm not a giant fan of some of the later Disney films like this, you can't deny the just fantastic quality they put into these. So the actual jacket is the same as the standard release, but you get the CAV banner across the top. That's how you can tell them apart. And of course, it's a gatefold instead of being just a single CLV disc. Now, it's a pretty simple gatefold with your chapter index. The other difference on this, the actual jacket itself is very glossy, so it does feel a bit fancier than the standard CLV one. Otherwise, the art is exactly the same. So instead of it being a single two-sided CLV disc, you get the film spread across all four sides in full CAV, and the quality is noticeably improved when you compare it to the CLV disc, which itself was pretty darn good. The sound is Dolby Surround encoded PCM and of course 5.1 AC3. There is a director's commentary on the other analog track, and you do get the THX Mastering Seal of Approval. This is one of those titles, though, where if you compare the Dolby Surround to the AC3 version, you can notice some mixing differences. And this is one of those where I kind of actually like the Dolby Surround a bit better than the AC3. It seems to fill the room a bit more. So it's one of those where your mileage may vary, but definitely check out the Dolby Surround track because it's definitely no slouch. And of course, the Lion King's been subject to various changes over time. So going back to the Laserdisc will get you a much more theatrically accurate version. The soundtrack is pretty much the theatrical mix for what we can tell anyway. And lastly, also included in here is the supplemental features, which are in a 2-disc LD presentation. This one, unfortunately, it's not a gatefold, so it's just shoved into one sleeve. So if it wasn't in this box set, it would probably have a lot of creases and dings and ring wear, but has the fantastic art from the cover of the box. And this thing is loaded with supplements. Like I said, it's spread across 2 full CLV discs, so they definitely went the extra mile. And everything is chaptered out here. There's not really an insert that goes into it. At least I don't think there is. So you'll just have to go by this chapter listing. And I think all this stuff has been carried over onto the DVDs and the Blu-rays. So I don't think there's anything exclusive to this set. What's going to be exclusive to this set is the CAV presentation of the more unaltered Laserdisc presentation. And you do get the fantastic Dolby Surround track and the AC3 track, which are much more of the theatrical mix. So, but you can get that on the CLV version if you just want that. And you can get that for like $1 or $2 as opposed to trying to track down one of these. But I mean, the quality of this pressing, the gorgeous artwork, and the CAV presentation, I think really do make a case for it being worthwhile, you tracking one down. So this was the big surprise of this mystery box, and something I've wanted to get for a very, very long time. So I definitely can't wait to spin this up and watch through the whole feature and just go through every single bit of features and stuff. So once again, I want to say a huge thank you to Video Connoisseur. This has been a fantastic, just completely mixed mystery box of just all kinds of fun and really some interesting discoveries in here. So thanks again to the Video Connoisseur. Thanks to everybody for watching, and hopefully you learned something about all of these magic discs that we all love to spin and talk endlessly about. So thanks everybody.